In a story that has shocked fans across the globe, Kelly Clarkson, at 43, is facing an unimaginable tragedy. Her ex-husband, Brandon Blackstock, with whom she shared a roller coaster romance that ended in a bitter public feud, has tragically passed away at the age of 48, as the world watched their messy divorce play out. Many wondered what Kelly would say or do when the time came. Now, as reports of his death circulate, she has responded, but her actions are painting a picture nobody saw coming. What she did was not what anyone expected. Stay with us as we unpack the layers of this complex story, from a fairy tale beginning to a courtroom war and reveal Kelly Clarkson's surprising reaction to the death of the man she once called her greatest love. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're delving into a story that is as heartbreaking as it is complicated. The news of Brandon Blackstock's death has sent ripples through the entertainment world. He was a well-respected talent manager, the son of music industry veteran Narvel Blackstock and the famous stepson of country queen Reba McEntire. But to millions, he was known as the man who captured Kelly Clarkson's heart, and then the man who broke it. Their relationship was a whirlwind, played out for all to see. They were a power couple who mixed love and business, a decision that would ultimately fuel their downfall. Their divorce, finalized in 2022, was one of the most contentious in recent memory, packed with disputes over money, property, and professional trust. Now, following years of a very public and painful battle, the story has taken a somber, unexpected turn. Reports that emerged on August 7, 2025, confirmed that Brandon Blackstock had passed away after a private 3-year battle with melanoma, with the coroner in Silver Bow County, Montana, confirming he died at home under hospice care. The world's eyes immediately turned to Kelly. How would she react to losing the father of her 2 children, River Rose and Remington Alexander, after such a bitter end? The answer began to unfold just one day before the official announcement, with a cryptic but telling move that hinted at the gravity of the situation. Now, through sources reportedly close to the singer, her true feelings are coming to light, revealing a side of Kelly that speaks volumes about her character. This is the story of how, at 43, Kelly Clarkson responded to Brandon Blackstock's death. Before the headlines were filled with legal filings and accusations, there was a love story that fans absolutely adored. To understand the depth of this situation and the complexity of Kelly's reaction, we have to go back to the very beginning. Kelly Clarkson first met Brandon Blackstock way back in 2006 at the Academy of Country Music Awards. She was performing, and he was the tour manager for Rascal Flatts. At the time, Brandon was married, so their first meeting was strictly professional. It wasn't until 6 years later, in 2012, that they reconnected in a big way. They met at the Super Bowl, where Kelly was performing the national anthem. This time, Brandon was single, and the spark from years before was free to ignite. Their romance was a whirlwind. Kelly, America's original idol, who had built a career on anthems of heartbreak, seemed to have finally found her own fairy tale. She was completely head over heels, and she wasn't afraid to let the world know. By December 2012, they were engaged. Kelly gushed about the proposal and her stunning custom yellow diamond ring, a symbol of a bright future. It really seemed like a perfect match. Brandon, already a father to 2 children, Savannah and Seth, stepped into a relationship with one of the biggest stars on the planet. They tied the knot in October 2013 at the beautiful Blackberry Farms in Tennessee. A stunning and intimate ceremony. Kelly announced the news to her fans with a simple, joyous message: "I'm officially Mrs. Blackstock." For a while, it seemed like pure bliss. They weren't just husband and wife. They were a professional powerhouse. Brandon, an established talent manager for artists like Blake Shelton, also became Kelly's manager. This weaving together of their personal and professional lives appeared at first to be a major strength. Their family grew quickly. In June 2014, they welcomed their daughter, River Rose, and in April 2016, their son, Remington Alexander, was born. Kelly often said that Brandon was the love of her life who restored her faith in men and fathers of feelings she poured into her emotional 2015 song, Piece by Piece. The song was a powerful tribute to Brandon, contrasting his love with the pain of her own father's absence. This period was the absolute pinnacle of their love story, a picture-perfect family that seemed to have it all. But as we know, even in the most perfect-looking lives, cracks can begin to form. The dream came to a shocking end in June 2020. After nearly 7 years of marriage, Kelly filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The news stunned fans, especially since the couple had been quarantining together with their children at their Montana ranch, giving no public sign of the turmoil underneath. In fact, just months before, Kelly had been posting sweet family moments, seemingly a strong partnership. Sources close to the couple later suggested that the intense lockdown togetherness may have just made their existing problems impossible to ignore. What followed wasn't a quiet split, but a long and painfully public legal war that dragged on for 2 years. The battle was fought over everything: custody of their children, their massive assets, and the very nature of their professional partnership. Their first major fight was over their sprawling Montana ranch. Kelly was awarded the property valued at over $17 million, thanks to their prenuptial agreement. However, Brandon, who wanted to leave the entertainment industry to become a full-time rancher, contested this. It led to a standoff where a judge allowed Brandon to continue living there as long as he covered the huge maintenance costs. Eventually, Kelly agreed to give Brandon a 5.12% stake in the property, worth about $908,800, just to close that chapter. Then came the money. The final financial settlement in March 2022 was staggering. Kelly was ordered to pay Brandon a one-time tax-free payment of just over $1.3 million. But that was just the start. The court also mandated hefty monthly payments, $115,000 a month in spousal support until January 2024. And on top of that, $45,601 a month in child support, while they agreed to joint custody. The court gave Kelly primary physical custody, with the kids residing with her in Los Angeles. This was a huge victory for Kelly, whose main priority has always been the stability of her children. She's been candid about how hard the divorce was on them, sharing that they would say they wished mommy and daddy still lived in the same house. It was a heartbreaking admission that grounded the celebrity spectacle in a very real human pain. But the fight was far from over. Just when the divorce seemed settled, a new war erupted. Brandon Blackstock, through his father's company, Starstruck Management Group, had been Kelly's manager for 13 years. In September 2020, just a few months after Kelly filed for divorce, Starstruck sued her, claiming she owed them $1.4 million in unpaid commissions. But Kelly didn't just defend herself. She went on the attack. She filed a petition with the California Labor Commission with a bombshell claim that Brandon had been acting as her talent agent without a license, which is a big violation of state law. In California, only licensed agents can book gigs for artists. Managers can advise, but they can't be the ones securing the deals. Kelly argued that Brandon had illegally booked some of her biggest contracts, including her role as a coach on Asterisk, The Voice Asterisk, her deal with Norwegian Cruise Line, and her hosting gig at the Billboard Music Awards. She argued that all the commissions he and Starstruck collected from these deals were illegal and should be paid back. The legal fight simmered for years. Finally, in November 2023, the labor commissioner delivered a stunning ruling in favor of Kelly Clarkson. The ruling stated that Brandon had indeed overstepped his role and illegally procured those deals. He was ordered to pay Kelly back every dime of commission he earned from them. The total sum was a massive legal and public victory for Kelly, but a devastating blow to Brandon. His team immediately announced they would appeal, setting the stage for another messy public trial. However, in a surprising twist, in May 2024, just a few months before the trial was set to start, the case was confidentially settled out of court. A source confirmed that everything is settled, marking a quiet end to a very loud war. Little did anyone know that a far more tragic chapter was about to begin. On August 7, 2025, reports confirmed that Brandon Blackstock had passed away at 48. A family representative released a brief, dignified statement, revealing a private struggle hidden from public view. It is with great sadness that we share the news that Brandon Blackstock has passed away. Brandon bravely battled cancer for more than 3 years, passed away peacefully, and was surrounded by family. The news that he'd been battling cancer for over 3 years was a revelation, meaning his diagnosis likely came after Kelly had already filed for divorce. The world's attention immediately snapped to Kelly. After years of public bitterness, how would she respond? Her first move came the day before the news of Brandon's death broke. In a sudden announcement, Kelly postponed the rest of her sold-out August dates for her Las Vegas residency. Her statement was a rare look inside her fiercely protected private world. It was here she first alluded to the gravity of his illness, writing, "While I normally keep my personal life private, this past year, my children's father has been ill, and at this moment, need to be fully present for them. I am sincerely sorry to everyone who bought tickets to the shows, and I so appreciate your grace, kindness, and understanding." This was the first public sign from Kelly that something was seriously wrong. It appears she carried the knowledge of his illness while navigating her career and the end of their legal battles. In hindsight, this announcement was her first quiet tribute, a public declaration that family, and especially her children, came before everything. In the days after the news became public, a source reportedly told People magazine that the singer was devastated for her kids. The source added when she found out that he was sick, she remained protective of him for their sake. It became clear earlier this year that Brandon was not doing well. "She's been devastated for the kids." This was the reaction no one expected. After all the public fighting, many might have anticipated a cold or purely formal statement. Instead, what emerged is a picture of profound empathy, focused entirely on her children's loss. The source continued she never spoke poorly about Brandon to the kids. This protective instinct is the core of Kelly Clarkson's unexpected reaction. It wasn't about her own complicated feelings, but about shielding her children. She responded, not with a dramatic statement of sorrow, but with a quiet, powerful act of motherhood. Honoring the man who will always be their father. To really understand the emotional journey Kelly Clarkson has been on, you just have to listen to her music. For Kelly, songs have always been her diary. And this was never more true than on her 2023 album, Chemistry, and in the stunning evolution of her song, Piece by Piece. Chemistry was her divorce album, and she made it clear the project covered the arc of an entire relationship, from the beautiful beginning to the ugly end. She explained the title perfectly. Chemistry can be a really amazing, sexy, cool, fun thing, but it can also be very bad for you. The album was raw and honest, a necessary outlet for feelings she had to get out. But the most powerful display of her emotional journey came from the transformation of her 2015 hit, Piece by Piece. The song was originally a love letter to Brandon, celebrating him for healing the wounds left by her absent father. The original lyric was a direct tribute. "Piece by piece, he restored my faith that a man can be kind and a father could stay." After the divorce, the song became too painful to sing as it was. So she reclaimed it. During her Las Vegas residency in 2023, she started changing the lyrics on stage, turning a song about being saved by a man into an anthem of saving herself. The he in the song became I. The new lyrics were a powerful declaration. Piece by piece, I collected me up off the ground where you abandoned things. Piece by piece, I restored my faith that a heart can still beat, even when it breaks. In one widely reported performance, She even changed the chorus to reflect their financial battles, singing, "I just walk away when they ask for money. I take care of me, 'cause I love me." This public rewriting of her own history took on a profound new weight with the news of his death. Looking back, she wasn't just singing about a divorce. She was processing years of pain, possibly while carrying the private knowledge of his illness. The evolution of Piece by Piece is a real-time chronicle of her journey from hopeful love to bitter heartbreak to fierce independence and finally to a place of hard-won peace. The story of Kelly Clarkson and Brandon Blackstock is a modern tragedy about the dangerous mix of love, fame, and business. It started as a fairy tale and ended in a storm of lawsuits. Yet, in the end, in the face of the ultimate loss, what has emerged is a story of unexpected grace. Kelly Clarkson's reaction to the death of her ex-husband wasn't defined by their feud, but by the fierce, protective love of a mother. Her first move was to cancel her shows to be with her children, a clear signal of her priorities. Reports from those supposedly in her circle paint a picture of a woman devastated not for herself, but for her children who have lost their father. She seemingly carried the heavy burden of his illness privately, all while the world judged the final ugly stages of their legal disputes. This reveals a depth of character that goes beyond any personal anger. Despite the pain she exercised through her music, she has reportedly made sure her children's image of their dad remained positive. In the end, Kelly Clarkson responded not with words of anger, but with actions of profound empathy and motherhood. She has shown that even after the most public and painful of divorces, humanity can win. The final chapter of their story isn't about the millions of dollars. It's about a mother shielding her children and quietly honoring the man who gave her the two most important things in her world. This story is incredibly layered, and we want to know what you think. How do you see Kelly's reaction in light of their complicated history? Does it change your perspective on their public feud? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you want to stay up to date on stories like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.